Welcome to the University of New Hampshire's proposal to build coastal resilience across the Great Marsh, a virtual tour. This proposal is focused on strengthening salt marsh resilience, building marsh capital, reducing inundation impacts to the marsh surface, as well as stabilizing dune and beach habitats. This work will occur across 5 coastal towns and 2 state borders. Our team at the University of New Hampshire is centrally focused on engaging stakeholders, as well as local groups, students and volunteers, regional agencies and partners, members of the community, as well as visiting resource area users. Effectively, we have 3 broad project goals that we seek to accomplish: dune and coastal beach resiliency actions, innovative marsh platform resiliency actions, and interstate management and engagement. The Great Marsh watershed spans 10 coastal towns from Rockport, Massachusetts, north to Hampton, New Hampshire, but rarely is the full ecological extent of this system considered at once. From this locus map, you'll see project areas both included in this proposal, as well as ongoing resiliency work that leverages and provides additional matching efforts. Dune and coastal beach resiliency actions. Collectively, our team has been working to ensure coastal resilience in the region for the past 25 years. We've seen many changes and overcome many challenges by openly partnering with communities and agencies to protect, enhance, and restore these fragile habitats, such as the dunes of Reservation Terrace, Newburyport, that are shown here. In doing so, we've built important relationships with teachers and schools, as well as management agencies and the community that we bring to this proposal. Our efforts have not gone unnoticed, as many of our team have been featured in positive news stories, helping communities with their coastal resource priorities. From Newbury to Salisbury Beach to Hampton and Seabrook, the UNH restoration team has been welcomed by the Seacoast community. And multiple generations of people have worked with us hand in hand to protect these fragile resources. Dune and beach management challenges in Massachusetts have been reduced by increasing awareness, ongoing planting activities, and added attention by state and federal agencies. While challenges remain, efforts by the municipalities themselves, as well as groups like the Merrimack Valley Beach Alliance, the Salisbury Beach Betterment Group, and our state delegation, among others, has secured sand for a large-scale beach and dune nourishment initiative. All 3 towns in Massachusetts will receive sand from this initiative in the next year. This proposal will partner with that large-scale effort to stabilize dunes with native plantings, strategic fencing, Moby mats, and other beach access, and an army of engaged community and volunteers to help protect homes, infrastructure, businesses, as well as recreation opportunities along the 7-mile coast. And we'll pair that with rigorous monitoring, dune and deep beach profiles, as well as dune die-off monitoring, for which we've recently published a study that we could share with homeowners to resolve die-off issues on their own properties. We'll also continue our drone-based mapping areas of change, as well as creating 3D models of the coastal profile. All of these data will be publicly available. The monitoring elements that we propose are captured in our metrics table directly from the proposal. Salt marsh platform resiliency actions. Throughout New England, marshes are facing a trend of prolonged inundation. In many areas, this contributes to marsh pool expansion through flooding and marsh collapse, as well as stranding of eutrophic algal blooms. In this short clip, you can see the algal mat smothering the marsh grasses. Reconnecting extensive marsh pools with shallow swales or runnels can alleviate some of this stress and lead to recolonization by native marsh plants. When viewed from above, with this aerial capture from our drone, the pattern of marsh collapse is self-evident, making it easy to identify strong candidates for runneling. Factors include the size of the pool, the proximity to an existing channel, and the ability to connect hydrology with our non-invasive compaction runnel technique. Our team has been perfecting our approach with our collaborators at U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Parker River National Wildlife Refuge. In these paired images, you can see the mega pool to the left was converted into a series of small pools, and vegetation has recolonized in between, trapping sediment and building marsh capital. We're particularly excited to bring this technique north to the Hampton-Seabrook estuary portion of the Great Marsh. As the northern extent of the Great Marsh, the Hampton-Seabrook estuary has received comparatively little attention or support. But as our partners from Coastal Adaptation Work Group, Seabrook Hampton Estuary Alliance, New Hampshire DES, and vocal members of the community can tell you, there are a number of restoration and resiliency priorities for this system. Our UNH proposal to work in this system was informed directly from our ongoing collaborations with these and other partners in the region. As with all our restoration and resiliency work, rigorous monitoring is planned to carefully document progress and to share those results openly with others. Monitoring metrics include vegetation, birds, hydrology, elevation, pore water chemistry, and aerial drone-based mapping. All of these parameters are clearly outlined in our metrics table included in the proposal. In addition to compaction runneling, our team's been particularly successful with ditch remediation in Great Marsh. In this technique, cut marsh grasses are staked in selected ditches. The biomass traps sediment and seeds and rapidly builds creek bottom elevation. We recently published the innovative technique and its exciting results. There are a number of creeks in the Hampton-Seabrook estuary that would benefit from this approach. Monitoring metrics for all salt marsh restoration and resilience techniques are highlighted here. Innovative sediment placement pilot study. In addition to the core restoration approaches described, we also propose a thin layer placement pilot study. The idea mirrors an unprecedented natural sediment event that we recently captured in Great Marsh in winter 2018. Using drone imagery and remote sensing, we calculated that one storm event deposited 15 years worth of sediment over hundreds of hectares of marsh. More importantly, within one growing season, the marsh was thriving. We documented the event in a recent publication and have given several public talks to share the story with the public. The pilot study would build off our team's leadership role in a near-science collaboration of a TLP study spanning 7 U.S. states to explore the effects of thin layer sediment in a controlled manner. Working at our existing site plus 2 additional degraded marsh locations, we propose to continue exploring TLP as much of the U.S. currently employs this technique to help systems keep pace with rapid sea level rise. Monitoring would include all marsh restoration parameters described before, with the addition of invertebrate sampling. We believe the time is now to employ tested techniques while understanding potential benefits of new approaches to coastal resiliency. The proposal before you is the first initiative for multi-state coastal resiliency strategies, the first cooperation between 2 New England states to protect the coastal resources. Through this proposal, we will restore 7 miles of dune and beach areas, 300 plus acres of marsh in New Hampshire, plus matching efforts in Massachusetts. We'll accrue more than 600 volunteers across many demographics 10 or more area schools, 16 state and federal agencies, and spanning 5 seacoast towns across 2 New England states. We look forward to your questions, and thank you very much.